there, summer is right around the corner this year, and let's be honest, it is going to be super duper hot. So what I am going to be doing today is I am going to be filling my freezer with about 20 freezer meals. I'm going to be making a variety of like slow cooker meals, casseroles, and sheet pan meals. So that way when the summer hits and it's really hot and I don't know what I'm going to make for dinner, I could just pull one of those meals out of my freezer, cook it up, and it just can't get any easier than that. Dinner is served, and I'm also trying to make these meals as budget friendly as possible and as easy as possible. So if you've never made freezer meals before, I promise you could do it. You got this. Let's go get started. To start us off today, we are making one of my favorites, this Fiesta chicken casserole. And if you're new to meal prepping casseroles is super duper easy, I promise. To get this recipe started, you'll need about 4 pounds of cooked shredded chicken. I'm just cooking my chicken up in the Instant Pot, then I'll shred it from there. But if you wanted to, you could cook up your chicken on the stove or buy a rotisserie chicken. And then I added a cup of water to my Instant Pot and 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. I'm going to cook this on high pressure for about 25 minutes. Now that my chicken is cooked through, I removed any liquid from my Instant Pot. Then I just shredded it up. Once my chicken was nicely shredded, I let it completely cool down and then I added it into this large bowl. Next, I'm going to add in about 4 cans of drained corn. And I do want to let you know, for all of these recipes today, I am timesing them by 4. So I am making 4 different meals out of all these recipes. This is going to really help you save a lot of money when you're meal prepping, and then it will save you time because you're making so many more meals just at one time. So it's just great. I definitely suggest that. I also added in 4 cans of diced tomatoes with green chilies, 4 cans of drained and rinsed black beans, 4 cans of cream of chicken soup, and 4 cups of instant white rice. You do want to make sure you use the instant white rice. It makes a difference. Then I added in about 4 tablespoons of taco seasoning and I gave this a really good stir. I have my 4 aluminum tins right here. I'm going to be adding the casserole in all of those tins. I'm going to try to do it as even as possible, and I definitely recommend you using aluminum tins when you're meal prepping, just because, you know, sometimes when you put glass in the freezer and then you bake it from frozen, the glass will shatter. So I definitely recommend the aluminum tins. Over the top, I'm sprinkling 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese over each casserole, and then cover this tightly with aluminum foil. And if you're wondering at all today, well, how long will these last in the freezer? You know what? That's a really good question. I always like to leave them in my freezer for up to 3 months. The quality of the food and the flavor and the texture is just best up to 3 months. Of course, you could leave them in your freezer longer than that. I just always recommend 3 months. Another thing that I like doing is I like to write on a little piece of paper what the meal is, the cooking instructions, and I just tape it right on top of the aluminum foil. The reason why I do this is because 9 times out of 10 I just forget how long to cook it for and what's in my freezer. But I put this in a preheated oven to 350 degrees covered in foil for 60 minutes. Then I uncover it and bake it for an additional 15 minutes. And this is from frozen, and this tastes like it has not been frozen. It is so good and flavorful. We like to top it with our favorite kind of like taco toppings. It is great. Now we're making this delicious, fail-proof, easy shepherd's pie. You're going to want to start out with about 3 to 4 pounds of ground beef. Add it right into a large pot and break that ground beef up and cook it through. Once it's completely cooked through, remove any excess grease in your pot. Now I'm going to add in about 4 diced yellow onions. And then for the veggies, I'm keeping it really easy. I'm adding in 2 12-ounce frozen bags of peas and carrots. Then you're going to want to add in 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste, and I learned this little trick. It is the best way to empty a can of tomato paste. Open both sides and take the lid off the top and then push the bottom part of the can out, and then boom, there you go. All the tomato paste is out of the can and you have no waste. I also added in 2 cups of beef broth, 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Then for the seasonings, 2 tablespoons of dried thyme, 2 tablespoons of dried rosemary,
a half a tablespoon of black pepper, and a tablespoon of salt. I gave this a really good stir to combine the ingredients. Now it's time to assemble our shepherd's pies. As you could see, I'm making 4 shepherd's pies today, so I'm just going to evenly distribute the ground beef mixture out. Then I'll spread it out to the best of my abilities, and as you probably know, you put some mashed potatoes over the top of the shepherd's pie, and making this much mashed potatoes wouldn't be super easy, so I bought these pre-made mashed potato containers from Walmart. They were right around $4, and I definitely recommend you doing it just because all you have to do is open the container of mashed potatoes and spread it out on top of the ground beef layer. Over the top of the mashed potatoes layer, I'll add 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and then I'll cover each of these aluminum tins with a tight layer of aluminum foil, and then make sure you write on a little piece of paper, the cooking instructions and what this shepherd's pie is. So all I wrote is shepherd's pie and then how long to bake this for. Bake it from frozen, covered with foil in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for 60 minutes. Then uncover the foil and bake it for an additional 10 minutes. Of course, before you bake it, make sure you take off the little label and the tape. Shepherd's pie is one of those meals that my infant and toddler both love. Also, this shepherd's pie is so good. When you bake it from frozen, it definitely does not have that frozen taste about it. It is delicious. Slow cooker freezer meals are another type of freezer meals that are so easy to prepare, but they are just amazing when it comes time for dinner time. So now we're making this chicken with wild rice and vegetables. I started out by labeling all 4 of my large gallon size freezer bags, and now as you see, I am just hooking the freezer bags onto my baggie holders right here. They're like the green clip things. If you don't have bag holders, I'll leave mine linked for you guys in the description box below this video if you want to get yourself some. But if you don't have any, you could also just use like large containers like this Nesquik container or this clear container to hold up your bags to make it easier to put some food in them. So into each of my 4 bags, I'm adding in 2 large chicken breasts. My chicken breasts are frozen. I found it is just easier to handle frozen chicken breast when making a bunch of freezer meals like this. Then I added in about a tablespoon of minced garlic in each bag. Next, add in 1 cup of wild rice. Make sure it's not the instant rice, just the regular wild rice. Now I'm adding a half a cup of diced yellow onion into each bag, and then you'll add in a half a cup of frozen peas. Next, add in a half a cup of chopped celery, and then the last veggie I'm adding in is 1 cup of sliced carrots. I just kind of use like the carrot chips that they sell at the store, but any type of carrots would really work. And then for the seasonings, I added in a teaspoon of pepper in each bag, a half a tablespoon of salt, a teaspoon of dried thyme, and a teaspoon of dried oregano. That is all you have to do. Now you could just seal up your bags and place them in the freezer. I do want to let you know I made sure to write on each of my bags to add in 2 cups of chicken broth when adding it into my slow cooker. I've had a couple of freezer bags in the past rip on me when I add like broth or water into the bag, so I just made sure to write on the bag so I didn't forget to add in my broth. But here's what it looks like when it comes time to cooking your freezer meal. So I just add the chicken and the veggies and rice right into my slow cooker, and then I am adding in the 2 cups of chicken broth right now. That is all you have to do. I am going to cook this on high for about 2.5 hours, or until my chicken's cooked and the rice is tender. I just shredded my chicken up in a separate bowl once it was cooked, and now I'm going to add in about 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. The cheese is optional, but I do like adding it in. And then there you go. All you have to do is serve it up now. This is so good and flavorful. I know it's not the most gorgeous meal in the world, but seriously, you'll be eating bowls and bowls of this like me. Now we're prepping a sheet pan dinner, and if you know me, you know how much I love sheet pan meals. We're making this sausage with veggies, so I have 4 packages of kielbasa sausage right here. I'm slicing it into smaller discs, just like this. Now for my veggies, I'm just going to cut up about 5 yellow onions and 8 bell peppers. I'm slicing those veggies, and now I have my large gallon-size bags right here. I made sure to label my bags, and now I'm placing the bags in my baggie holder and then my clear container, and I was planning on eating one of these sheet pan meals in the next couple days, so I just prepared one of the sheet pan meals just on a sheet pan with parchment paper, and then I froze it from there. But into each of the bags and on my sheet pan, I added some of the onions, the peppers, and then about a pound of golden potatoes in each bag. Make sure you cut the potatoes into smaller pieces, and then I placed some of the sausage evenly into each bag, and then I added my seasonings in. I kept it simple with the seasonings, just added some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and oregano, and then that was all you have to do for this sheet pan dinner. Seal up the bags and then place it into your freezer, and then for the sheet pan dinner that I was eating in a couple days, I just placed it into the freezer after giving it a good stir. This is how I recommend baking sheet pan dinners from frozen. So just pull out a sheet pan, line it with parchment paper, spray the parchment paper with a little bit of oil spray, and then I like to take out the freezer bag about 10 minutes before I bake it in the oven. Just that way it gives it a little bit of time to thaw so the sausage and the peppers just don't stick together. And then after placing it on the sheet pan, I like to spray the top of everything with a little bit of oil spray, then bake this in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes or until the potatoes are tender. And seriously, this sheet pan dinner is so easy to prepare. It really is delicious, and this dinner is a total crowd pleaser. I love barbecue chicken so much at this time of year, so now we're preparing this slow cooker barbecue chicken. It is my favorite slow cooker barbecue chicken recipe. After I labeled my bags and placed them on my bag holders, I added about 2 large chicken breasts into each bag. I do want to let you know, if you need more chicken for your family or less chicken, you could always add more or less. Then I added in a half a cup of barbecue sauce into each bag. Any type or any brand of barbecue sauce will work. Next, add in a third a cup of Italian dressing in each bag. Again, any type of Italian dressing will work. Seal up the bags, and then that is all you have to do. You have 4 dinners ready to go on a crazy busy day. It really can't get any easier than this to meal prep this dinner. I knew the other day was going to be an extra busy day. I had to take my car to the shop, so in the morning I pulled out this freezer meal, placed it in my slow cooker, and this cooked on low for 6 hours. Once it was through cooking, I just shredded up the chicken and gave this a really good stir. We like to serve this in hamburger buns, but you could serve this barbecue chicken over salads or any way you want to. It is so good. I have plenty more videos like this on my channel, so make sure you're subscribed down below the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.